Welcome to Destination Eat Drink, the travel channel for foodies. I'm Brent Peterson. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to do a pastry crawl, and I've done pastry crawls in different cities before, but this one's going to be different because we're going to focus on one singular pastry, the famous Pastel de Nata, which everyone who comes to Lisbon, everyone who comes to Portugal wants to try. So we're going to try several different ones and see how they stack up. And we're going to do this mostly in Lisbon, but I thought we'd start today in Pinhel Novo. This is a town not too far from where we live, and it's on our way to Lisbon. And I wanted to stop by this pasteleria because it's one of my favorite for Pastel de Nata. It's called Mafaria, and it's in Pinhel Novo. They're famous for their Pastel de Nata. So what they're known for, one of the things that they're known for, is they make what's called a grande Pastel de Nata. And you'll see later today when I have regular Pastel de Natas, this one's probably like 20-25% bigger. So it's a larger format Pastel de Nata. But just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's better. These guys do a great job with the Pastel de Nata. So let's give it a try. So you can hear the crunch when I go into that. And that's the first thing you want to look for, is a really flaky crust. And then on the inside, you want to see the custard filling being like almost runny. So what this is made of, you can see it's crumbling. It's so flaky, it's like crumbling off of here. This is an egg tart, so it's egg, sugar, a little bit of vanilla usually, and then other secret ingredients. And then it's baked in the oven until it gets caramelized on the top like that. And you add a sprinkling of cinnamon on there. These guys, they make a delicious Pastel de Nata. I usually don't get the big one, I usually get the normal sized one, but I wanted to show you the big one because this is what they're famous for. Great spot. If you can make it out here, it's just a train trip, less than an hour from Lisbon. And there's a few other things to see in Pinhel Novo. It's not really a tourist attraction type city, but this place has some of the best Pastel de Natas in all of Portugal, in my opinion. So it's definitely worth the stop on our little Pastel de Nata crawl today, and a great way to start the day. All right, so we made it out to Belém, the birthplace of the Pastel de Nata. Actually, it was born right behind me in the Jeronimos monastery. No one is sure exactly when they started making this, but obviously it was after the age of discoveries, when sugar and vanilla became more common in Portugal. So anyway, what happened was, first of all, look at the size of this church behind me. What was going on back in the day in Portugal was some of the churches, in order to make money, would make different kinds of sweets. They called them convento sweets. And they would make them to sell to the local community in order to make money. They made a pastel, something called the Pastel de Nata, Pastel de Belém here. As you can tell from behind me, probably didn't need to raise money by selling tarts. Churches like this, monasteries like this, that were huge, extravagant demonstrations of the royal wealth, the church's wealth, the royal ego, they were well funded. But anyway, they were still making these little tarts. What ended up happening was, in the 1830s, Portugal had a war. And when the new ruling class came in, they privatized and abolished most of the churches and monasteries throughout the country. Place behind me, this was supposed to become a school for underprivileged children. Never really happened, and the place stood vacant and fell into decline. But what did happen was, and this was true in a lot of places throughout Portugal, is the monks who were here sold the recipe to a nearby bakery. In this case, Pastiche de Belém, which is right there, like 2-minute walk from here. Sold the recipe, and then they started making these little tarts, the pastel de nata. They've been doing it for almost 200 years now with the same family. So you can go over there and you can get a pastel de nata. It's called Pastel de Belém there. In fact, this is the only place in the world where they can call it a Pastel de Belém, because everyone else has to call it Pastel de Nata, because they don't make it in Belém in that particular pasteleria. All right, so what did we do today? You have two choices when you go to Pastiche de Belém. You can stand in line and wait for a table and sit down. And I would recommend doing that. It may take a little bit longer, or it may not, depending on the lines. You may have to wait in line a little while. And we've done it before. We've sat in there. It's gorgeous. But today the line was long. I didn't really feel like waiting too long, so I went to the takeout counter. In that case, it was like a 5-minute wait, less. And you just order it and you can take it to go. And they'll even box it up for you. They also give you, I just got one, but they also give you these little packets of powdered sugar and cinnamon. And I topped mine with a little powdered sugar and cinnamon. So let's have a try of the OG Pastel de Nata, Pastel de Belém. Man. Their crust is so crispy and so caramelized on the bottom, almost to the point of being chewy. So delicious. Still warm out of the oven. Beautiful egg custard on the inside. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Gorgeous. Frankly, I kind of avoided this place when we first came to Portugal. Years ago when I first came here, didn't go there. I thought it was a tourist trap. And so I didn't go there until we'd actually been living here for a little while. And it turns out this place makes great pastel de natas. Really, really tasty. Some of the best. So it's worth making a trip for two reasons. One, pastel de natas, Pastiche de Belém, really, really tasty. Second of all, it's just a gorgeous setting in order to do it. And you're probably, when you come to Belém, you're probably going to go here anyway. So you're going to go to the church. I recommend it highly. Vasco da Gama is interred here. The church is stunning on the inside. You can also pay to see the cloisters. There we're seeing as well. And then there's other stuff to see in Belém. There's the Belém Tower, and there's the Monument to the Age of Discoveries. You can also get boat tours here on the Tagish. Boat tours are really cool. You go sailing right under the 25th of April bridge. So this is a place you want to come to. Belém is very touristy, but very much worth it. It's not super easy to get here. You can take the 15E tram. That's probably the best way. But there's no subway. There's no metro stop out here. And it's quite a distance from downtown. You can't walk here. I walked out here once. It is a long, hot, not shady walk. So that's not an idea that you want to do. Learn from my mistake. But definitely come to Belém. It's worth a minimum of half a day, maybe a full day. Coach Museum's also out here. A lot of people go to see that. All right, so I'm going to finish my Pastiche de Belém and head back into the city for some more pastel de natas. What do you say? Let's go. Made it to the Chiaro neighborhood, to Mantegaria. This is probably the second most famous pasteleria for pastel de nata in Lisbon after Pastiche de Belém. And truth be told, I've also avoided this place. I have been to, at this point, I've been to Pastiche de Belém many times. I've never been to this particular pasteleria, and kind of for the same reason. it seemed like it was overhyped to me. So, you know, that was just me. We'll see how their pastel de nata is, though. I gotta say, before I try it, though, inside, the place is super cool. Like, it's tiny. It's basically a galley kitchen, and then they've got a skinny little place if you want to eat inside. You can do that, but it's nice outside, so we came outside. And you can watch them. They're just behind plexiglass, doing the thing. They're making the cream. They're filling the shells, and they're baking them off. And you can watch them right there within, 3 feet of you. Anyway, let's give the pastel de nata a try. The custard is warm, really rich, delicious, creamy, yum. The crust is crunchy. To me, it's a little more oily than I would like, but still quite delicious. So if you're coming to Chiato, this would be a good place to get a pastel de nata. They're also in the Time Out Market. So if you don't want to come all the way up here, you're probably coming to Chiato if you're coming to Lisbon. But if you find yourself in the Time Out Market, they've got an outpost there. I saw it when we were out in Belém. I saw they have a place out there as well. This one, I think, is the original, and it's the most characteristic. So this would be my place to come to if you want that real experience. But they've opened a few shops around here in Lisbon, so there's different places for you to check out when you come here. And Chiato is just an amazing neighborhood. At some point, I'll do a video on all the great places to go in Chiato, because I have several places that I really love here. There's also several famous tourist spots like A Brasileria and stuff like that. But anyway, there we go, Chiato. Got a couple more places to check out, and that'll be it for our first part of our pastel de nata crawl here in Lisbon. So our next stop is Aloma Pasteleria here in Campo de Ourique neighborhood, and this place has been around for 80 years now, and it is just absolutely adorable inside. It's just a little bar, a couple of tables, and they're cranking out their pastel de natas right here. So let's give it a try, see how it stacks up. That crust is so crispy. That's the thing here in Campo de Ourique. You're pretty much right in the flight path. So you've got planes going over every 2 minutes here in this neighborhood. But anyway, this pastel de nata, it is, the crust is so flaky and crispy. It's just, it's toasted. It's more toasted than other ones that I've had. It has a butteriness to it. I wonder if they're putting butter in the bottom of the pan when they bake it instead of oil. But anyway, that's really good. As far as the filling goes, the custard filling, it's tasty. I would say it's maybe a little fluffier than some of the other ones that I've had. So it's really nice, and they're bringing them out every few minutes. Even we're in the late afternoon here, and they're still cranking them out, so you can still get fresh ones direct out of the oven. Put a little cinnamon on top. Perfect, perfect little treat for a late afternoon here in Lisbon. We're at Alcoa Pasteleria in Chiato. This place is known for having pastries with funny names like Nun's Belly, but they're also known for having a really nice pastel de nata. So that's what I got. It's a pastel de nata video. And I got a little canela, which is cinnamon, and I'll give it a try. So that might be one of the best crusts that I've had. really crispy, not oily. Maybe could be a little bit lighter, but still really nice and tasty. And then the custard filling, really good. Nice custard filling in there. Tasty. All right, it is hot today, so what I asked for was a cafe con gelo. That means coffee with ice. And she asked me, can I just give you an espresso with a glass of ice instead of an iced coffee? I said, sure, that's fine. So, gonna make my own. Straight in. Nice coffee. Wow, that's really good. Frankly, I wasn't expecting a lot, but pleasantly surprised. I'm going to just scoop out a little bit of this custard and try it by itself. Sometimes the crust disguises the flavor of the custard too much, but there, by just scooping it out, you can get a real feel for how good the custard is. And that's a nice custard. So, that'll do it for today's video. But, we've got 2 videos now of Pastel de Nata crawl here in Lisbon and nearby areas. So surely there's a place that you can find if you come to Lisbon that you'll enjoy. There's a lot of good ones. And I think all these places that I've gone to, including the vegan one that I had in the last episode, are all really, really quality places. So I don't think you can lose by going to any one of them. If you like this kind of stuff, food and travel, and who doesn't like those, subscribe to my channel, Destination Eat Drink. Thanks for watching, and see you down the road.